Okay folks, so this video is about my Rheem tankless water heater EcoSense Home Depot special, which has been working pretty well when it works. However, over the years I've had it now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years maybe. I've had several problems. One of the problem initially was that the line for the condensation goes outside, and of course I'm in New England, so when it goes below freezing out there, the water, the pipe clogs up. So what I used to do is just unplug it from under here, let it drip, but that was inconvenient. So what I did is I installed this T-fitting here with the just a piece of hose that goes into a bucket. And so basically this is tilted up a little bit so that and the hose, as you can see, is kept curved. So that way when it freezes, the water backs up, and instead of going all the way up here, it just goes here into the bucket, and that works great. The second problem I had, about 6 months into it actually, was that the heater wouldn't turn on. And so what turned out is that it would only turn on when there was a lot of water pressure. And so what it turned out is that the valve that sits just above this the water sensor, which sits just above the inlet there, was defective. Rheem sent me a new one as a replacement in warranty. I installed it very easily. It's just a bunch of clips, and they actually sent me the control board, which I didn't think that was the problem initially. And in fact it didn't fix it. Then I had him send me the control valve, and that fixed the problem. That valve actually is a $200 part, so that was a good save. Finally, occasionally I have issues where now after a bunch of years, and by the way, I do maintain it in terms of back flushing it with vinegar once a year. Typically I do it under the holidays where I have some extra time. And so that's been fine. So that's been done every year ever since. The problem lately is that occasionally I get error code 12. I have a hot air furnace, which has never had as a problem with the gas pressure. So error code 12, as you know, by the manual, it talks about gas being a problem. Gas is not the problem. I have the proper size piping coming in from outside, 3/4 inch. So I know my tank is full, and I don't have a problem with gas. They say that the problem can also be when you have that error code 12. It could be the exhaust, but these are big pipes going out, and there is nothing inside. I did check them in the past and never had an issue. So again, occasionally I get this error code 12. It beeps. The only way to reset it is to shut it off, unplug it, and leave it unplugged for a good half hour to an hour, and then plug it back in, push the switch, and it comes back alive. So I decided to look into it a little further, and did a little research on YouTube. It turns out that some of the recommendations are to clean the igniters. Actually, this is the igniter. These are the something rod. I'm not sure exactly what they do. Perhaps they sense the flame. But one of the other recommendations was to make sure that the burners are clean. And so I have never opened this, so I don't know what this thing looks like inside. But obviously there is a burner right here, which fires up into the heat exchanger up here. So first of all, I did notice that I have, let me get my flashlight again, some leaves that are coming down over there, so I'll be cleaning that up. There is some gunk that seems to have formed over there, so I'm not sure if that comes from inside this box. Perhaps the condensation that builds up in here before it has a chance to drip down here, it's forming some of that gunk over there. So I think I'll be taking this out as well. It looks like to take this out, it's just a matter of taking out these two screws right there and right there, taking out these clips right here, which disconnects these copper pipes to these plastic fittings, and it appears that this whole thing would just slide out. So I might try that, but I don't know. One thing I did do is check the flame, and it turns out that half the burner is not firing. So I'm gonna put my phone down, go turn the water on, and show you real quick. So it comes on, but as you can see, half of it shut off, and the other half it's still on. So it looks like this half of the burner comes on at first when the high pressure gas shoots out, opens at the very beginning, and then it just dies down. So what I'm going to do now is basically take this bar out. I already took it out from one side and take it out the other side, and just open up this cover, take out these rods over here, the flame rods, the igniter, and try to get to the burner, which is supposed to be an element about this, as wide as this box, about this thick, that has a bunch of burners up here. And I've seen from other videos, but they were Rheem videos, not Rheem. The whole thing should come out, and let me shut this water off. And the whole thing should come out, and then we'll look inside. So I started taking this apart. I have gently, very gently, unclipped this foil. As you can see, it has these, now you can see better, it has these tabs. Okay, so you kind of just take one out of the other side and just kind of to get it out of the way. I have taken out the igniter plug. You just simply pull back this plastic rubber boot and then pull it out. And the same thing with these igniters, with these elements here. I have marked the color of the wires. This one's white right there, and this one is red. Sorry, blue, not red. And I marked it right there. Now I'm going to take out. I'm going to take out all these screws that are here from this top plate. I'm not going to touch these screws on this bottom plate right here, which seems to be separate. So the screws are coming out. I've noticed, just for your reference, that hard to tell, and I just dropped it, but the screws that are on the top are longer than the screws that are on the bottom side. Okay, see, those two screws are different there. The longer ones go on the side and the top, and the shorter ones go on the bottom right there. 3 of them. And of course, by the way, before I started any of this, I have shut off the controller and unplugged it out of the wall. So all the screws from this top plate are out, but it's not budging, and I'm noticing that these tabs are over this plate, which means that this whole thing has to come out as well. Actually, this one here, it looks like there is a double plate, this one in the back, and then there's another one on top. I'm going to take this one in the back first. So it looks like, in order to take this bottom plate out right here, there are regular Phillips screw heads here and different screws here. So again, I'm not going to touch this bottom plate with these golden looking screws. What I'm going to remove is all these. What I have removed is all this, which is all the way down here. So this is probably it looks like it plugs into the gas valve. So this is the manifold that distributes the gas to the burner. So yeah, I'm assuming this thing has to come out. It's a safe assumption. I have one more screw down there, and that one, and then this whole thing should come out. So a few extra screws actually hidden behind the control board. By the way, just for reference, one of the problems I did have with this water heater is that I had a power outage, and I had my generator going, which was not working properly. It was the engine was going up and down in RPM, so the power was not nice and steady. And of course the frequency, and so that actually blew this whole thing up. What I had to do is replace the control board and that fan over there. That has to be done at the same time. Don't do one or the other. When you have what's happening is there's a 3M fuse on this board, and the fuse blew out. When I would replace it, it would blow out right away. And so again, had to replace the control board and the blower fan back here. You got to do both at the same time. Unfortunately, it was like $350, I think, for both of them. I found them online, but easy to replace, but painful to the wallet. So I'm about to pull out the assembly and see if I can get it out. Okay, so million screws. Basically, there were screws everywhere on the bottom here, all the way down here to this assembly. And again, this is the gas valve. Flashlight. That sends the gas through those openings, of course, and they are upside down. Okay, so that's where the gas goes through. Another solenoid of some kind, and then they go through those orifices right there, and they get injected into the burner. So I'm gonna examine these holes to make sure that they're okay. It looks like they are, and then looks like there's a bunch of smaller holes on the top right here. Okay. All the gasket is intact. This came right out clean. And then I have this. Oh yeah, look at that. Bad lighting, but this hole is plugged. See if I can get a better shot at it. There's some debris in there. There's all sorts of debris. So I'm gonna take out a couple more screws there. I think that's it. And then this whole thing looks like will come off. I'm gonna blow it out with compressed air. So I removed these screws right here, and this thing is coming out like a drawer. Okay, you can see can't see anything really in there, but I'll get it out and show you. Okay, so this is what the burner looks like. I see some crud right here, obviously along the edges. That shouldn't matter, but that'll get cleaned up. And then these two guys, so it looks like there is a bigger burner opening here, and that's probably what fires up the whole thing. This side does look clean. That's the side that doesn't light up or doesn't stay lit, but I'm sure that I'll find something there. So I gotta blow this out and see how it works. Alright, so the burner is clean. Blew it all out, top, bottom, through those holes. Seems to be nice and clean. I tapped it slightly as well on the bench here, using the corner so that nothing would get bent. This guy appeared to be clean anyways, but I blew inside of it as well, all the holes. I don't know if that's going to make any difference. This guy, I did compressor hose to it as well, kind of blew it all out. I blew that plastic right off, right here. Okay. And just for your reference, that's what that looks like inside the heat exchanger. I blew that all out inside there. A little bit of white crud came out as well, but seems to be nice and clean. There were some, here's the particles, the white particles that came down. Still some over here. It's a little dusty, but it's essentially clean. Where's my finger there? Yeah, so inside here, again, there is some crud over there, but I blew it out with the compressor. It did not come loose, so I'm really not going to bother with it because this is open to the outside. As you can see, the air intake comes in through there, it's open there, and so this entire thing is exposed to the outside environment. We got a lot of pollen and stuff, so I don't think it's drastic and stuff. You can see here the pollen right here on this hose. So I'm gonna put it back together, and hopefully it fires up. Well, it's back together, it's working. However, it's doing the same thing. The flame looks a lot higher now on the side that does stay on. This side still shuts off after the immediate fire up. I'm gonna show you that. Close the water, goes off, fires up, but it goes right out. So Now I'm thinking that maybe that is a high power secondary burner for when more heat is required. So I'm going to open it up for discussion, I guess. Let me know what you guys think, if that is the case. I'm suspecting that's the case, but the bottom line is that burner was definitely dirty. So I'm glad I did it. Now the question is, why doesn't half of it stay on? It may be perfectly normal. Again, I'm not a plumber, not an electrician, but this was easy enough to do, except that there are a million screws, so be very careful. So I'll again invite comments and let me know what you guys think about the other half, that portion of the burner not staying on. Otherwise, I hope this helps somebody. Good luck.